You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Ian Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV for the real world San Diego. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest real world San Diego news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for the real world San Diego.
Woo! Yo, what up, AfterBuzzers? It's your boy DJ Jesse Janedy here in the AfterBuzz TV booth, and we just watched the reunion to season 26 of the real world Frank Diego or San Diego, whatever you guys want to call it.
Praise the Lord, it's over.
It's done. It's over. In the studio, we're switching it up every week on you guys. We don't want you guys guessing who's gonna be up in here.
I'm always be here.
Leroy's always here. The homie, Leroy Garrett. What up, dude?
What's up, man? I'm chilling. I'm ready to dig into this episode. It's a good one tonight.
It was a good one.
This episode was actually better than y'all actual show.
Most of the episodes of the show, yeah.
I definitely agree
Sad.
with that. And actually, let's go right across the table. Alex.
Hello. What's up?
I want to jump to a question for you, but right after I introduce our special guest here tonight, Sir Byron
I wouldn't call it
Bartlett.
special,
There you are.
but
What's
I
up,
guess
boys and girls?
maybe.
Special. Damn. See, I come in, she's cut me down right out the gate. I didn't get a chance.
She does that a lot. I've noticed that.
You know what? I will leave that up to the opinions of others because I apparently don't have one.
All right, so Alex, watching this episode, it's funny because normally when we watch these in studio, you kind of don't really like to watch yourself. I'm taking that from you. You've already seen the episodes, but you kind of keep your head down. You look focused on Twitter and whatnot. But with this one, you kind of were really into it. Is it weirder watching you on the real world or watching you in the reunion?
It's always weird, no matter what you're watching. But I was a little more excited to watch this one because I knew for a fact that you'd actually hear me kind of speak my mind for once. I think that this season on the show, I was definitely kind of like the therapist and the middle ground. But after we finished filming, I formed some stronger opinions about certain things, and so I was excited to kind of see that come out.
Now, was this your first time actually watching the reunion, or did
this was the first time.
taping? So,
Yeah.
what's your overall thought on how it was edited and chopped up?
I mean, I think it came out exactly as expected. I think that the thing I'm learning more and more from watching the show, maybe not y'all season with Adam, but is that in general, things always kind of end on a middle ground, They kind of end where there's no right and wrong. So watching the reunion, I can see where Zach and Ashley are coming from. I can also see where I'm coming from or where the other 5 members of the crab circle are coming from, you know what I mean? So it was edited exactly how I expected. I expected it to end kind of on a note where you pick your side depending on what you agree with.
I don't want to be a horrible viewer, but what the hell is the crab circle?
The crab circle? This crab circle. You haven't been
the
watching. You
beginning
are a
of it-
horrible viewer.
I
The
missed out
beginning
on
of
it.
it started off rough with the whole 5-2 against the whole 5 against 2.
Yeah.
Well,
But
it
that was
more
weird.
than just the beginning.
That was the
like
wording,
theme.
though. The thing that's funny to me, honestly, is watching this and hearing just the way that things are phrased. For example, for Maria to say stuff like, "Oh, it's 5-on-2, 5 against 2, the clash of the battle." But
It could really be 2 against 5.
exactly, or it could just not be. Why not just say it's not a fight at all? It's just kind of how it is. Because I never really looked at it as 5 against 2 or 2 against 5. It just kind of was what it was.
But it's way catchier
And it wasn't-
and way more fun.
It's
when
so
you word
much
it like
more
that.
fun when it's like the ultimate battle between the
Nate
crowds.
seriously, I didn't even see that coming. Nate seriously went in on Ashley. Like I was like, damn.
Well, and that's why I want to say I do think it was a fight because at the end of the day, there was so much. You guys lived with each other. There's so much emotion living in a house like Leroy. You know this,
Right.
Yeah.
You don't. At the end of the day, you didn't care about Adam or what he was doing, but you lived with him, so it brought a sense of, well, I do have to care about this person because I'm going through an experience.
Yeah.
So it's not just a brush a shoulder off type situation. It is a fight because
I could definitely understand where they coming from when they say about like the opening it up, because like when Adam was breaking all that stuff in my season, I'm like, you haven't even told us anything about yourself. You only spoke to Nani about it, and then everything that you told her seemed like it was kind of fabricated, and there's no reason for you to act the way you act. So when I seen Nate go off on Ashley, I was just like, wow. So like, is it really to the point to where she's really that fake? Because it was like a thing that went on Twitter the other day where Jimmy from like New Orleans and Naomi, they were all just calling her out.
Yeah.
And they never even met her.
I think the problem there is, and they didn't show me saying this at the reunion, but I was like, there's a very big difference between being private and being fake. So at times, for example, when Nate and Frank are kind of going in on Ashley and they're saying, well, you didn't share yourself with us, that's what makes you fake. No, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's what makes you fake. It's okay to be private. It takes different amounts of time for everyone to open up. Right. The thing that bothers me, or the thing that I think is a legitimate reason to call somebody fake, is when they're very inconsistent about the things they say and do, And like I said, I think what really frustrated Nate was seeing Ashley go from one extreme to the other all the time, or claiming to be one sort of person, and then, 2 days later claiming to be another type of person. And I think that's where Nate was coming from, but for some reason, every time he expresses it, it instead comes out like, well, you didn't share yourself with me, that's what makes you fake. That's not fake.
So by her acting, not being herself, she thought that this would lead her to a bigger future outside the show?
I think so. I think
like what? I mean, since the world knows nothing of you, then
why do we care?
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I don't know, honestly. I think, and I do get where she's coming from at times, saying, well, I noticed talking to her over the summer, she'd be like, well, I just don't want to do this on camera. It's too big of a deal. I don't want them to catch it on camera. But then the thing is, why are you here?
Right.
At the end of the day.
Why you really don't even think too much into it. Like like Nate said, you're on the real world. His mom was something like, don't do this. You're gonna do whatever you want to do. Just be yourself. People are either gonna like you or they're gonna hate you, or it's gonna be in between. And even if you're on there like me, it's kind of, I would have to say this for myself, it's kind of hard to hate me. But I mean, there are some people out there who just genuinely dislike me. So
there are people out there who hate me too.
Right.
Well, what I'm really curious is, like, take it for example, like me being a third party to all this and kind of seeing on it, and you being like a real dude, and this kind of being more of like a chill, like real environment, and not being so drama heavy. At least what I've seen of your season and what I've experienced of her season. What I'm really, really curious about is how is it different in the house? Because when I see it, it's like, man, I just don't care if Ashley wants to go and be fake, dude. I don't give an S, because I go to my job, I work, I come home, and I live my life. So is it different? Like you're stuck with those people, so then you start to
like
you're
with the
forced to
Ashley
care?
and Zach thing. I wouldn't care if they didn't hang out with me. That's fine. I would rather deal with them being by themselves than having to deal with what Frank was doing. You know what I mean? So that would be my biggest issue. Frank would be my biggest issue.
That's what I'm saying.
I met Frank now, and like, now after meeting him in person, I have a total different outlook on him, whatever. But that would be my biggest issue. But
because at least them you can just avoid.
Yeah, but like with Zach and Ashley always wanting to be by themselves, or how he feel about gays or whatever, I wouldn't care.
That's why you never really see me during the season frustrated with them. I didn't care that they were or were not okay with gay issues. I didn't care if they hung out so much. The thing is that after the fact, I became frustrated with them, because after this experience, they wouldn't even give me their phone number. And I was the one person in the house who actually defended them. When everyone else was caring about their stuff, I was telling them to chill out.
That wouldn't bother me neither. I look at it like, you know what? I've only known you for a couple of months. Same thing with Adam. I'm like, bro, I only known you for 3 weeks, so if you're not my boy, that's fine. I just met you. I don't consider us boys. I don't consider us anything other than roommates. So it's easy for me to dismiss somebody after only knowing them for 3 months.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
But the frustrating thing is then in interviews, Ashley would say stuff like, well, I talked to Alex a lot and all this sort of stuff. So they didn't even play that part. But coming into it, I said beforehand, if you're not going to talk to me, that's fine. But then don't say that we talked to make yourself look better, to say that you did form relationships in the house. And that's what was frustrating for me.
I guess in that way, like, I get where Nate was coming from, but he took it on such a personal note, because I mean, if you want to call somebody out, dude, like, there are ways of doing it. You gotta be like, look, girl,
I would have called her out,
and then just
on the show.
Boom. Yeah.
Like on the show, I would have called her out. So it's just kind of like, well, if that's the case, then should have called Zach out too, because they both
Zach
are always
gets off scot-free.
But you're not always, I mean, they got like so many millions of hours of footage.
Right.
You're not always gonna get that in there,
exactly.
And it's not, if you call it out real chill, it's not a big enough moment. But what I'm saying is, like, you just sit there and you just be like, be done with it. Be like, look, bro, you got an issue. Just be like, hey, sweetheart, I got an issue with you. I just don't think you're real. I don't think you're fly. I'm done.
Right.
Then boom, drop it, man. You don't
The
gotta
last,
go.
the last thing
you
on
know?
my mind was worried about getting to know one of the girls in my house. I could care less. I'm like, it is what it is.
And I got like 15 other honeys outside the house that are
Right.
interested
It's
in
funny
you.
because Ashley kind of I understood where she was coming from as far as what she explained to Nate. You know, you were the other straight guy in the house. So if I'm talking to the other straight guy in the house, why would you feel that you're going to be the first person that I open up to? And so I understood her with that platform. But
Yeah, I hear that.
what kind of made me go a little crazy is that the first thing we heard in the entire episode is that she said the separation happened at the end.
That was a lie, though.
And but it's funny because Zach has been went through this whole reunion, basically pushing on Frank of whatever Frank says, that's what it is. Yeah, fine. I believe that. I believe that. I believe what Frank is saying. But in the end, Zach has a picture of what happened on the real world that none of us saw as viewers, and apparently no one else in the house witnessed. So I mean, as far as now, how does that affect you, or does it affect you in as far as
No.
dealing with them? Like, did they give you their number afterwards?
I went out to a bar after the taping. Zach and Ashley both kind of apologized to me because
Okay,
they
that's what I-
thought the reason the issue they had with me was that I was friends with Frank, and they thought that since I was friends with Frank, I had the same opinion about them that Frank did, which I never did. In
Right.
fact, I usually kind of scolded Frank for going in on them all the time. You know, regardless of whether or not I agreed with what they're doing, I was like, let's just have fun. Forget about that. You know, do you all summer. And you see that in one of the episodes where I'm like, just do you.
Right.
But so after the reunion, they apologized to me, but it was so funny because at the bar, everyone had been drinking, and Zach's like, I'm sorry, my phone number is going to be in your email inbox in like no more than 2 days. And I was just like, Zach, you have a phone in your pocket right now. If you really
like, "No, I
wanted,
don't."
I was like, if you really wanted my number or to give me your number, then the exchange would happen right here. So don't worry about it, you know? And for me, honestly, I don't really think about them anymore. They're not a part of my life. They're happy, I'm happy. So I don't worry about that anymore. The only time I worry about it is when we're watching this or when we have to talk about it again.
Most of the time on these shows, like The Real World, you only really genuinely leave with like one or two good friends. Everybody else you really don't talk to
But
as
that's
much.
life
you know what
in
I mean?
general, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That's
How many
life.
job sites have you worked on?
Right.
Schools you've
They
gone
say
to?
you don't die with more than two good friends.
Yeah, so it's like there's no love lost because I don't talk to everybody from my season all the time. You know what I mean? Naomi would get mad because I don't call her as much, or not even like, oh, you never hit me up. But it's like,
You don't call me, boo.
not even
Call
not
me.
even just with her. It's just like, you know. So I never talk to Dustin. It's rare. You know, we may tweet back and forth. I normally just talk to Mike. There's no love lost against anybody on the season. It's just like you kind of doing your separate things, and kind of it's like some of the issues you have, it's still kind of burned deep a little bit, so you kind of keep it in the back of your head, like,
What I'm curious about is because on this season you got the Zach and Ashley. It seems like you kind of like, I don't know if the last year season's starting to trend here, but it seems like you had the Dustin and Heather kind of phenomenon. Like, how
It was
that?
no, exactly. When I watched that, Dustin and Heather were always by themselves. Like Dustin was all over her all day. She never spoke, you know, a lot.
So in relation to like what you had to deal with,
I didn't give a damn.
But it
There we
seems
go.
to
Yeah,
me-
see, I
That's
didn't
what I'm
care.
curious.
I was like, you know, I mean, we would talk. The only thing was that the fact that Heather didn't want to be secluded from us. Dustin just would be all over her to where she wouldn't open her mouth and say anything. She would just follow his lead. So the girls would have a problem with it. Me is like, Heather, you're a female, so I can care less, you know, what you do all day with Dustin. This is like, if you want to be wifed up, that's fine.
And
do
at the
your
end of the
thing.
day,
I'm
everyone
cool with
needs to
Mike.
be happy. If Dustin and Heather being together was what made them happy and pleasant in the house, if
Right.
Zach and Ashley being together,
I would get
is what
annoyed.
made
I would
them
get
pleasant,
I
then
would get
that's good.
annoyed watching them like kiss and bullshit all that. Because I'm looking. What I thought of the real world. The real world to me was a joke. I thought that no real relationship would come out of there when it with male and female.
They're still dating, yeah?
Yeah, but when I see them, I'm just like, this is some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, I mean, it is what it is. You know.
But
I'd
what-
rather. Oh, sorry.
What I'm actually really, really curious about. So, given that you got your season and how it was handled with the two of them, and then the Zach and Ashley on this season, would both seasons be pretty similar if there was a Frank in the house? So, what I'm really curious about is it one man that made this division, the 5 versus 2, such a big deal, or was it really the relationship seceding and that Zach and Ashley are just so much worse than the relationship that you guys had?
I think that there are a lot of factors. I think it was more than just Frank, because Frank
Yeah.
wasn't the only one talking about it.
Sam was upset with
Sam
a
was
lot of
upset.
things,
Priscilla,
actually.
you don't see it, but Priscilla was really upset with it because
But were
Priscilla
they,
wanted to be
were they
close
only
to
upset
Ashley.
because he was such
No.
a homophobe? What was the real
No,
reason?
No. You were
Dustin and
talk-
Heather actually did. It's just around the house. I mean, they never, like you said, that they went off to the gym together and stuff. Like, whenever we did one thing together, Dustin was just so far up her ass. But it was just
Yeah.
kind of like, whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous.
At the end of the day, I'd rather live in a house with 7 people who are doing 7 different things but happy than 7 people who are forced to hang out together and
Yeah,
unhappy.
and you know what? It just depends on the person. For me, I was there like, you know what? This is what I enjoy doing. Waking up for free, rent free, working out, and women. So anything outside of that and chilling with Mike was like for the birds for me. So I'm like, you know, if you guys
I'm
wanna
gonna
go off of-
hashtag that
Yeah,
in my
right
tweet
on.
That's
later.
how I was.
Yeah, so
I would wake
it
up,
just-
I'd
it
work
just-
on music.
It just
and-
depends on the person. You know what I mean? If you went there trying to, you know, become... I got a family back at home. I got homeboys back at home. I mean, if I go there and I don't make friends, I mean, it sounds bad, but it is what it is. I didn't go to the real world thinking I was going to make 7 friends. I was like, I'm about to go there and party.
And you know, it's funny because Priscilla actually watching this reunion made me. Because there are times where I can kind of understand where Zach and Ashley are. Because even watching Maria talk about it, you know, there were times where I'm sitting here like getting kind of upset with Maria, like, why are you sticking up for them? Like, no, they're
Right.
the bad guys. But you know, then she said to you guys, like, have you guys never seen a relationship before? And that's what happens in a relationship. Is
But
the
like
two
I-
people, but at the same time, this is where I switched back over to Team Alex and Frank and all that. Priscilla.
It's not teams.
No, I know. Well, when,
Yeah, it
when we
is.
consider
Yeah,
it a fight,
but it
though.
is. But it is. Yeah, that's
Because if
what's
they're gonna
messed
hashtag it, it's gonna be Team Zach and Ashley, Team
Yeah.
or whatever.
Can we have our own team right now?
But so
like
Team
Triforce.
AfterBuzz. But Priscilla went into this, and her and Frank didn't get along at 1st. But the fact that Zach and Ashley couldn't understand that all you guys were saying is that none of us, we all looked at Frank like he was crazy at the beginning, and you kept saying it, but you were the only one who really said it. Everyone else said it in their little montages. But Priscilla said it the best. She said, we got to know who he was and understood where these things were coming from. And after the first week, things started getting better. But then she said with Ashley, it was like the first week we knew Ashley liked to drink, Ashley liked meat, Ashley liked to go out and party. And then the transition came and it went to she doesn't like to eat, she only eats raw meat, or, you know, everything was opposite of what it was. So
And you know what? I'm going to cut you off. That's what it was like with Dustin. Dustin first came in the house. He's like, oh, man, I like to do this with girls. Then as soon as Heather came around, he's like, oh, I'm a Southern gentleman. And that's why Mike would get so mad. See, America doesn't see all this stuff that Dustin said. You know what I mean? He made up this whole big lie about who he was, and then now he's like, no, I'm a Southern gentleman, and this is and that. So that's why Mike would get so pissed. But I'm like, Mike, who gives a fuck? Who cares? Like, let them do their thing.
I think the only reason too that we do end up kind of getting upset in this process is because we're asked about it all the time, because
Right.
we got to sit through an interview and answer questions, because we have to go to a reunion
Right.
and talk about it over and over again. And the more you're asked about something, especially depending on how the question
They'll
is
stop
phrased,
asking you once you tell them you don't
once
care.
you tell them you don't want to.
Yeah, no, I mean, but
that's
in the
that's
interview, they're like,
thing.
you know, how do you feel about Dustin and Heather? It makes me sick. Next question. I mean, that's what I would do. You know, just to if you sit there and just get to talking about it, and like, then you really start getting pissed. Like, well, I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get worked up over anything, man. I'll tell you what, like, I'll go through stuff at work or whatever. Somebody doesn't pick up a cup, you know, in the
Right.
club, and I'm just like, whatever, I'll blow it off. But somebody says, hey, man, he never does that. I'm like, dude, this guy never does that? Are you
Yeah.
freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
You start grilling a
Yep.
dude over it.
Yeah.
well, and
You know?
Byron, what was, as far as you being an outsider going into this, what was your take as far as everyone in the house? Was everyone polite to
Oh,
you?
man, can
or-
I go in for a minute on this?
Are we, that's what we
He
do?
going in.
Man,
That's what
I'm
you're here
going
for.
in.
Unbutton
going,
your shirt, man.
Dude, I
That's
got
what it's
notes.
made for.
I got notes. Can I would love to
You
give
got notes?
I got notes. I would love to
Wow.
give a shout out to anybody that's ever been on the other side of the fence. And I swear to God, if I could pitch it right now, if MTV's watching,
Have you ever
Do
met
it.
Michael, actually?
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Frank's
The
friend?
boyfriend?
The boyfriend, yeah, he's actually a really chill dude. You know, I mean, I've met him out at the Abbey and a couple places around in LA, but I would love to give a shout out to all those other guys, man, that are on the other side of the fence. And if
You're
you
right, because we have no idea what you're going through.
Exactly, that's the thing.
You're
You
right.
know, it's like I can't tell you how many times, like even after the show, me and my lady are going in about some stuff where it's like you don't get what I'm going through, and I'm like, baby, you don't get what I'm going through. Like I gotta
Right.
keep a job, I gotta keep place down, I gotta keep all this stuff, and I'm like, and I'm thinking it's so easy for you, and she's like, no, you don't get it. This isn't so easy for me. I gotta deal with all these people, I gotta deal with these cameras, I gotta do all this stuff, and it's just like, you know, if you could do like a follow up on like how that works out on both sides of the fence, because man, it's just like. It's
You know why I ain't have
intense.
to deal with none of that? Because I was single.
I will say
And
this.
I'm a guy.
Being single in that experience would have been so much easier.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt
They
it.
probably makes it want to probably catch you even more if you got a boyfriend back at home. And you're like, oh, I would miss him so much. They're like, perfect.
It was hard.
Then you got me like,
wanted
I
to
ain't
go
got to know
home.
about it.
You know what they didn't show, actually? About end of week 2, I wanted to go home. I called him. I was like, come pick me up. I started packing my
Yeah, I was
stuff.
surprised they cut
I
that
changed
out.
my mind.
There was
but
never a time where I was
yeah.
there that I was like, I'm ready to go home because I'm going to fight Adam. But I loved it. That right there was the best
But
time of my life.
have
It was like
to-
heaven. That's the closest to heaven I ever been, was doing the Real World. After Adam got sent home.
Well, those first 2 weeks were when I was
That was
first getting
good. That
acquainted
was
with
good.
Frank and first learning. Like, for me, I came to the house like, wait, people do this when they're mad?
Right.
People break stuff? This is how it happens? I was so weirded out.
There's
And I had to get used to it. So during those first weeks, it was really, really hard.
There's a lot of people that still hate Frank to this day that I'll speak to. I was actually on the phone with Zach the other day. He was like telling me how much he didn't like Frank or this and that. I'm like, well, listen, I've met him. You know, I had what I thought about him before I did the show. And now that we do these AfterBuzzes with him and hanging out with him, I'm like, he's cool. I feel like he's grown a whole lot from episode 1. Don't you agree, Jesse?
No,
I mean, because when we first watched it, we was like, whoa, this dude is a lunatic.
Well, what
Yeah.
really got me is like that, man. It's so funny. Is like, not to get all Freudian and whatnot, but like your home environment is a big deal. That's the way. That's why Zach is the way he is. That's
Right.
why Frank is the way he is. Because like he even straight up said it. He's like, yeah, they never told me no. You know, they never told me
and when
stop.
his parents
Exactly.
get
And
drunk,
now-
they get angry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
throw
And
stuff
now
and-
he's getting told like, yo, dude, like everybody can
Right.
see it. Like that's my girl
Same
up on
thing,
TV,
same thing
and
with
you're
Roy.
sitting there doing
same
that.
thing
Like
with Adam off my show. The same exact thing, and I'm just like, where's the home training at?
Exactly.
There's no you didn't. When I broke stuff on TV, my mom was like, "Lee, that ain't you," but I know why you did it. You know what I mean? Because I would never get on there and want to disrespect because you got to pay for everything you break.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
They didn't
It's a
make me
bill-
pay
it's a
for it
bill
because
at
I
the
was like,
end
"Yo,
of
I'm gonna have my homeboys come in here if you charge me." So they did.
Wow.
I was like, I wonder how that went over.
So do you think that more people, because Zach also made the comment that you're a psychopath moron to Frank, and everyone on Twitter is talking about it. I mean, here at AfterBuzz, our job is to dissect these episodes, and honestly, I feel that the fans who do watch this and who have seen Frank here in studio, there's no way you could walk away from watching The Real World and not understand the person he has become.
Right.
But I do know that there are people who could watch The Real World and not
And see that,
understand
yeah.
the change. But so as far as you, Alex, I mean, he's one of your really good friends. Do you think overall, in general, most people get it?
I don't know if people get it. Honestly, if I hadn't lived in the house with Frank and gone to know him and I had just seen the show, I'd probably still think he was crazy. You know? I think so. If I was
I
watching
probably would
this,
too.
I wouldn't, but if I was just watching the show,
I would say
probably.
he changed a little bit, but I would still be like, I would never. If I seen him in person, I would never
I wouldn't
like.
be on Team Frank.
No,
you
hell
know?
no.
Well, yeah, and look at
Yeah.
it like you pick sides like Republican, Democrats. Like, man, I'm gonna pick one from get go.
Right.
Boom, I like that person.
Now
don't like
one
the
thing
other.
that I don't believe about Zach, what he said tonight, is that he has gay friends.
Well, yeah. Well, Alex, you made a comment when he said that.
Okay, and this is just hearsay because I wasn't there for that conversation, but Nate and Frank were telling me that he came in and said he had never had a gay friend.
Because
So-
like if you have a gay friend, I think he would be offended if you said on national TV that gays shouldn't be allowed in the military or something
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
I don't think
So,
his gay
I mean,
friends
if you
at
my
home would
homeboy,
be
I'd be like, well, damn, bro, really? So you don't think I should go in there? Like, so I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe that he has gay friends.
And
Well-
I was
Or if
so
he did,
glad
he
that
doesn't anymore.
I was so glad that Sam, because he kind of went after. Frank is obviously the one who's going to start pushing the buttons first.
Right.
But I was really glad that
Sam's like, shut up.
Sam, yeah. Because
She went. That girl went in.
But now,
Oh my god.
Alex, you also said this is Zach's new thing because at first he was saying I don't think gays should be in the military, but then now he's changed it to I don't think sexuality.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's where the confusion kind of sets in because at
That's
dinner,
because Twitter been eating his ass up.
Exactly.
Yeah, for
At dinner in
sure.
Cabo, he straight up said, "I just don't think gay people should be in the military."
And
I'm
that's
not
fine for
comfortable
you to
with that. And it's
feel
fine
that way.
to feel that way,
Stick
but
to
then
your guns.
don't
but,
change your mind.
But like going into this experience, you can't. Sometimes you have to edit things you say or how you feel because some things you just don't talk about.
Yeah, but people respect you when you're. I mean, look at
When
Obama
you're
for
real.
example. You just got pull an Obama, say, "Look, I smoke weed." What are you gonna do about it? Nobody
Right.
cares. But if you
Right.
pull Bill Clinton and you're sitting like, oh, I never had sexual relations, dude. Nobody cares that actually happened. Yeah,
Right.
we have family
You gotta
values and
own up
whatnot.
to who
you gotta
you are.
own your ass,
And
man.
stay
Because Bill
steadfast.
Clinton is half black. We ain't gonna tell the truth. You lie to the death of it.
At the end of the day, you know, it's
You never
Yeah,
tell on
then-
self. My mom
then you get
always taught
some-
me that. You never tell on self. Like, I ain't do it. I ain't do it.
At the end of the day, it's okay to think what you want to think. I understand he grew up in a really conservative family where
Right.
that's not okay. All
Yeah.
right, that's how you think. It's not your fault you think that way, but at the same time, you got to stick to it. You can't constantly change your mind. I respect people who have different opinions from
now
me
this-
if they stay with that
This is
opinion.
the beef that I have with Sam and them. If they know, with Sam and Frank, if they know how he feels about it, why pick at him? Why put, you
Oh,
know...
dude, they want to rise. They want to get it
to
out.
add on to that, Alex, because I want you to answer this exactly what
Yeah.
Leroy just said, but to add on to that, did you feel that Zach brings up the sexuality first? Frank feels Zach brings it up. Zach feels
No.
Frank brings it up.
Nah, Frank brings it up
Yeah.
for sure.
him
Wait,
and
the
Sam.
only reason I'm saying this is because I definitely agree with Sam. Absolutely, Sam, because Sam is very in your face about it. But to me, I feel with the sexuality, the way it was edited, and then also to hear things like, if I watched this, and didn't know Frank, I probably wouldn't be on Team Frank. But Priscilla said, you know what? No, at the end of the day, all Frank wanted was everybody in the house to be together, and that's what got him so emotional, is that he was fighting for a friendship. And I know people like that.
Right.
So my question is, did we see that? Did we
see
well,
that
so
Frank was
was it
fighing for everyone
a
to be
friendship,
together? You
or did
kind
he
of
bring
see
the
that
sexuality up?
You kind of see the whole friendship thing. Is it the second to last episode what episode?
I think
is it
he
where
was
sits
fighting
them
also
down?
for Zach to, what's the word I'm looking for? Accept him.
Yeah, and so if I like put my 2 cents on that, I think like after having met both of them, what I really think is like Frank wants to be friends with everybody. He legitimately does.
Right.
But the reason he thinks that's not happening is because he thinks Zach has an issue with his sexuality, and Zach doesn't want to be friends with Frank because he thinks Frank is crazy, and it has probably nothing to do with his sexuality. He just wanted to be associated.
I think
Some of it does.
has to do with
Some of it.
sexuality.
He
I'm
doesn't.
saying
He probably doesn't
hypothetically,
care
though.
that he's gay, but he doesn't want to see it.
I think
That's the
that-
type of guy
I
Zach
think-
is.
exactly,
Zach's like, you could do your thing, but I don't want to see it. You
I
could
think
go
Zach
to
could be
parades,
friends
but
with
I don't want to
two
go.
gay people, but he would never want to see them kiss each other.
Yeah,
if
right.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No,
so I
that's-
think he liked
yeah.
Michael. I think Zach genuinely liked Michael, for example. I think that he genuinely liked Frank. But even when Mike and Frank would kiss, you could see his face like, oh God, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that
Like Zach wanted a distance that Frank wasn't
I'm actually glad
comfortable
that they casted Zach because there's a lot of guys out there that's just
feel
like
that
him.
way.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Yeah.
I think they did a good job.
And how was he with Sam? Because I mean, even Leroy, you and I, we were confused with the relationship between him and Sam. Because then, first of all, he said, "I'm going to beat the gay out of you." Was that taken out of context?
I think it was. Watching it as a viewer, I do.
I think that
I just
I
feel
don't
like-
think it's okay to say that in any way,
No, you're
whether
right.
it's sarcastic, no matter how you mean it. You can't threaten to beat the gay out of someone.
Wait.
But
I'm gonna stick up. I'm going
Yeah.
to say this though, because Leroy brought it to my attention, and I totally understand it. I do have friends where you can be so comfortable with somebody, and you can joke around and say.
I'm gonna beat the black off for you. I wouldn't
And
be
they-
offended.
said that to
but maybe,
Leroy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
don't think
offended.
Leroy
maybe
would
that's
be-
okay with you, but I'm just saying where I'm coming from. I don't
Right.
think it's okay to threaten to beat the gay out of someone. I don't think it's okay to threaten to beat a woman, even if it's jokingly. And I know with him in that case, like he tried to move out of the room with Sam at least 3 times because he wasn't uncomfortable. He was very uncomfortable with her sexuality.
With her
At the
knowing,
end,
but with
he
her
was fine
knowing
with it,
that,
but-
why do they force the whole like it means the world to me for you to come to Pride Week? Like he
And
doesn't want to go.
And that's that part I really can't tell you.
That
because-
used
You
that used-
still don't understand.
Yeah,
something.
for me,
Yeah.
if I invited someone, if I was
It's
like,
that
hey,
drama
come to
factor.
come to my black event, it's about black power, and someone was like, no, I'm not into that, I'm in the KKK, I would have never asked you
Exactly.
again. I wouldn't ask
That's
you
what
to
it's like.
come again.
I'm like, listen, the dude ain't with it. I mean, give it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not bashing. He's just saying that he's not with it. And they're like,
Yeah.
you want to put
Yeah, but
flags
And I
and shit
think
up.
But that's the difference between not to make it like a you and them factor, but it's like when you like look at where all these kids come from. Not to like hate on anybody, but I'm just saying this is the people I know. Is like when you come from a place that's like incredibly liberal, like you got everything taken care of for you. All you really go back to lie on is your emotions. And you're like,
Right.
man, I haven't had to deal with real world stuff. I got to deal with my emotions. And you go
Right.
to a house, you deal with your emotions. It's like you ain't worried about paying rent.
Right.
You're worried about this dude that doesn't want to come hang with you.
Right.
But
So at the end of the
here's
day, like you and me can write people off.
Yeah,
They can't. You know?
it's-
I think this is not to excuse it at all because, like I said, if I had invited someone to something, they said no the first time, I wouldn't ask again. But I do know that some people, I don't know if Frank and Sam are this way, but some people do view the gay rights movement like the civil rights movement. So back in the day, I was like, come to this protest. MLK is going to be there. We're going to sit in. It's a big deal. And my white friend was like, I can't do that. I'd probably be like, wait, what? You're not coming with me? So I'm just saying, I don't know if Sam and Frank are this extreme, but I do know there are some people out there who actually do view coming out and accepting the gay culture as a very, very big deal. I think that maybe Sam and Frank kind of took it a little too far, and that once they noticed they were saying no, they should have just given up.
What if your white friend's like, I accept it, but I don't want to go march?
And
it
depends on how passionate I am about that cause.
Everybody deals with stuff differently.
And also adding on to it, I mean, there's a difference between if someone knows you're gay and you've been friends with them for 4 years versus
a week.
At least if I'm gonna go to the gay thing, I'm like, I'm here to support my friend.
And also, a highlighter party isn't really a big step in, lesbian liberation.
That's a good point. It's not like you're marching on the streets. It's not like
how long into the show was
that? Was
Pride?
like a month in.
So I mean, you're not friends with these people. You don't know them. I mean, obviously you can choose to get to know them, and like you said, yeah, I want to try it. I've never experienced something like that. So you have the more open mind when it comes to those things. And I mean, technically, it should have been more awkward for you because it was a lesbian event.
Now, when they're marching for rights, or they're marching for their rights. Now, I would march for gays to have rights, but I'm not about to march like. I would. I guess I could say I would march for them to have their rights, but I'm not about to.
I think
I thought
pride
the march
is
was
exactly
like
what it's called. It's just a sense of pride. They're marching to show that they have a sense of pride.
And there's
but the march was for
the military.
The military
yeah.
was,
So it was for a purpose.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between going and marching to make a change and a difference, which that was for.
And a highlighter party.
Yeah, against Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
See,
and then a highlighter party. It's like, let's go and get wasted.
I would have been upset about the military thing, but not upset about the highlighter party.
Right.
But at the same time, like you saw me say in the Pride episode, I was like, you can't expect people to come around just like that, or even ever. But even living in the house, I'm sure Zach and Ashley left with some sort of new viewpoint on what it is to be gay. At least they may not be cool with it, they may be cool with it, but at least they lived with it and have seen it, and that's a lot more than you can say for a lot of people.
And take for example, like, they wanted Sam and Frank wanted them to so badly understand them and their gay culture. But on the other side, do you think Frank and Sam ever took the chance to really understand Zach and Ashley and like what that was like?
I do think so, because like you see, everyone's always kind of trying to reach out to Zach and Ashley, and the fact of the matter is, a lot of the time, because we noticed that they didn't really want to do the things we were doing, we'd be like, hey, what do you want to do? We'll do whatever you want to do on Friday night.
Right.
We'll go to whatever restaurant you want to go to Friday night. You like barbecue? Okay, we'll go to barbecue. And a lot of our group activities actually were based around what we knew Zach and Ashley liked to do or what they suggested. So we did definitely, not just Sam and Frank, but all of us really tried to get them out. Even when you came to visit, I was like, Zach and Ashley, want to have dinner with me? And they're like, we might go to the gym. I was like, well, I'll pay. I really want you to sit down with Byron and I and have like a double date. It could be nice. So I offered to pay. I took them to dinner. We all really did reach out to them. Not even to get to know them fully, but just to be around them,
If you're living with somebody, you want to be able to kick it with
because
them.
I would think like, here now is another straight couple coming into the picture, and Byron, you're new to the scene,
and Zach really likes Byron,
and so adding on to that, you would think that they would sit there and say, you know what, this is our way to, because apparently everyone thinks that they were acting on the show. This would be the perfect way to say, you know what, look, no, we're hanging out with Alex and Byron. We like them. They're a great couple. But they still chose. I mean, even to add on to the fact that's crazy to me that you waited outside of the gym for them. How long was that you waited?
A couple hours. I asked them literally like a week ahead. I was like, let's have lunch. It doesn't have to be a big deal. I'm not going to ask you any really important questions about your life, but let's just have lunch. And
Looking at
like,
that,
sure. Yeah.
I would think that if you just tell me to look at the picture, who I think would be best friends in this picture, I would definitely say Ashley and Frank. Like, most of the time, girls really don't have a problem with homosexuality, especially like little white girls. They really kind of like into that. So, no offense.
It's so
like,
stereotypical, but I'll give it to you, man. I see it every day in WeHo.
The producers and the psychologists all thought, because before the show, they kind of...
Yeah, but little white girls also get crazy for that right there.
They kind of predict what's going to happen.
And
No,
this right
they
here.
thought that... Oh, God. They thought that Ashley and Frank would be best friends, and then Ashley would fall in love with Zach, and so she'd be kind of torn between the two, and they thought that was what the main storyline was going to be.
Well, and then adding on to that, another thing being out of context, Zach said that Frank told Ashley that he was going to break her down. Now, the way Zach made it seem sounded negative. But the way, after meeting Frank, after seeing what that most of his anger comes from wanting to make people come together.
But you can't want to break someone down.
But
to
wait.
make them
But
friends with you.
break someone down can be taken two ways. It could be taken in the negative way of, I'm going to break you down and prove to you. Or,
Well, how does Frank talk to everybody?
No. Here's an example.
It's gonna be taken in the negative.
I'm actually going to defend. I'm going to
break
defend
you
Zach
down,
and
girl.
Ashley on this one because, for example, when we were going on the camping trip and you saw like the heat out when they turned the heat up really high and we were all sitting there. As that was happening, Ashley was complaining and Frank. Maybe Nate too. They were like, "No, we're not turning the heat down. We're gonna break you. We're gonna make you mad. We're gonna make you show us some emotion."
Okay.
So that is, I think, probably one of the instances that Zach is referring to. And in that case, I do get it because you're not gonna make a friend by breaking someone down.
And if
you
that's
know?
especially like coming from like another man's perspective, like if another man says that to your girl, like, dude, no, are you kidding me?
Right.
And I was glad
like, no
to see Zach
respectful
defend
man,
Ashley
yeah, no
because you
respectful
don't
man's gonna
actually
be like, you're gonna break my girl down, I'm gonna break your face.
You don't
Right,
actually
right
see
on.
Zach defend Ashley in any of the after shows when everyone's going in on her. So it was nice for me actually to see him defend her here. And I know that's something that frustrated her throughout this process is that he didn't really defend her and that he stayed friends with Nate, who was constantly kind of berating her. So I loved seeing him defend her there. And I thought that was a really sweet moment.
As far as them not going out of their comfort zone, I mean, wow, they really made this whole reunion about that. Now that I'm looking at
They made this whole season about that, Jesse.
I mean,
It was like Frank
You
and
know
then
what?
the Zach and Ashley.
Let's
Tryst.
talk about Tamika.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
wait, no, I don't want to talk about that yet because I want that to be included with our special segment.
Ah,
I
right
do,
on.
Okay.
I
There
do
you go,
have
there
a
you go.
topic about Tamica that I want to bring up to you.
Uh-huh.
But going in with your comfort zones, I mean, what comfort zones for you, Alex, did you feel that you wouldn't have gone out of that you actually did, and you surprised yourself looking back at it?
The first, I would say, month. I went out the first week, but after a week of going to clubs, I couldn't. I even cried about it. I was like, I can't. That's not me. I felt so uncomfortable going out. I felt so shy.
Clubs suck.
I felt so just like out of my, they're girls for you, but also being in a relationship too. I felt like I was being approached by guys I couldn't really talk to for fear of it looking like I was talking to someone.
Well,
then
and that
even-
was me kind of being conscious of the process. I
Even
was like,
Frank
I don't
got
even
like
want
that
him
for
to
a
watch
minute
this.
when he had
yeah.
a man. He was like doing that all the time.
Yeah, but the difference
had a
was
man.
the difference there was I felt really, really uncomfortable going out, and I felt kind of very self-conscious. So although it is a superficial thing, it was great for me over the course of the summer. And Sam's the one who helped me out with this because she'd be like, you know what, Alex, just come out and I'll hang with you. And one of the reasons I didn't like it at first was because everyone was like splitting up and hooking up, and I'd just be sitting there alone, like, okay, so what's happening here? So I did. I learned to be more social. I was really shy going in. I learned to just have conversations with anybody and everybody to the point that the producers were mad at me at the end because I just sit down with random homeless dudes and chat for a while.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
I wasn't too happy about that either.
Yeah.
Mom would get a call, be like, "Yeah, dude, your girl's in pieces in a dumpster."
And then also just nobody. I've never lived with 6 people before. Who has really?
Right.
You know, outside of a college setting. Yeah, but in this kind of setting where the emotions are so intense and everybody is picked to be different. We weren't picked to be the same.
I know,
you know.
right?
So it was really
Perfect
crazy
storm.
being around so many people who thought in different ways that I did, but I went in with the goal of finding similarities as quickly as I could and finding something to like about everyone as quickly as I could. And then I just try to remember those things every time I got frustrated. And that's why you never see me really getting mad at people during the season. I was just like, whatever, I remember that you like this and so do I. Or you know what, like Zach and Ashley, you guys respect what it means to be in a relationship. So do I. So at the end of the day, I just didn't really get frustrated. And I never felt too uncomfortable because of that.
And so, speaking of frustration and uncomfortability, Byron.
Whoa, about to go in.
Frank pushed some buttons, crossed some boundaries, without even meeting you or
Taking notes.
getting to know. What was your stance? I mean, that phone conversation is what I keep going back to, where he got on the phone and said he wanted to be with Alex, and from that, what's your stance as far as that? As far as when you met Frank and hung out with him in the house, and as far as today, where do you stand?
Well, here's my thing. I'm a grown-ass man, and my girl is a grown woman, and I trust her, you know? And so when he said that's like, dude, please, you know, I know, like, there's probably a million other guys out there that want what I got. I got what I got, you know? I know what I got. I don't need some other dude to tell me how it is. So it's like, when he called up, dude, I didn't give a shit. I was like, whatever, buddy. But when I met him, and it's like right out the gate, my biggest thing, dude, like, I was born on a farm, you know, and I spent the last 4 years up on a fishing boat in Alaska. And these dudes, it's either you live and die by respect. Like I've seen guys lose limbs, fingers, you know, like I've seen some crazy S happen. It's like you have to respect the guy you're next to because it could mean life or death up there. And so when he right out the gate didn't respect me, that was the only issue I had. I'm like, dude, you can hit on my girl, whatever, you know, I'm not gonna care. But the second that you're trying to, you know, S-talk me and you don't even know me, son.
That's
like,
part of him,
nah,
with him
man.
saying that he doesn't have any consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember
you
him
don't got
saying like he used to
consequences.
walk home from the bar naked. Like, where they do that at?
Yeah, I know, right? I know, and it's like, and so it's coming from that just different upbringing, and it's like because I respect my girl so much, and she gets along with the dude, I had to bite my tongue. But you know, if it was in real life outside of that, dude.
Well, it is outside of it right now.
No, you're right.
Where,
You're right.
Where do you stand now with it?
Now,
Are you and Frank cool? Do you understand where he comes from, or is this still kind of just like a, you know what, my girl really likes him. I put up with him. He's not a bad.
Where's the popcorn?
He's not a bad. He's not a bad person, so I deal with it. But
Drum roll.
at the end of the day, it gets and it's. To me, it would be frustrating.
Yeah,
because
I
this
mean-
is your girl, and for someone to just keep on wedging it in.
You put up,
And
you
for
put
him
up with a
to-
lot for love.
Byron
you know?
has a lot of patience. I'll tell
oh
you.
my
that.
Honestly,
God.
I don't really think Frank wants Alex like that.
I don't think so.
I think
either.
Frank-
I don't think so either.
Oh.
But
No,
I'm for the fact is, it just
It's the
keeps
thorn
coming
in the
up.
side,
And,
yeah?
and for him
Oh.
to say on the reunion, Frank, if Byron is completely out of the
Have you
picture,
ever
I would
like
want
seriously
Alex.
checked him?
Checked him?
Yeah.
Like hockey status? Like
No,
bam.
I mean like checked him. Like, yo, man, I don't appreciate this and that. Woody woody whoop.
You know what?
Snap
I thought.
No,
I thought.
you haven't.
No, and here's the thing: is that I thought about it, but like, you know, to be honest, like it's not worth my time, and B, like I know that she wouldn't want me to do that because I just start bringing up like a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff. Because like at the end of the day, it's like I could go in, I could be that guy and be like, yo, dude, let me break it down to you, or I could just be like, dude, you're not worth my time.
No,
you know?
I mean checking him don't have to mean you gotta be disrespectful, but like if he's done something, you know, maybe
Cross
2
the
weeks ago, I
boundary.
mean like, yo, as a man, put
Oh
him to
yeah,
the
no,
side.
no,
Yeah.
I did. No, I have done that. I have had a conversation about that and be like, look, dude, I didn't think that was cool. I didn't respect that, and it was just like it's kind of one of those like his personality type. At least I'm not going to diagnose the dude. I'm not a doctor, but at least from what I got was to the point of like, you know, I say something and then he has a snide comment back, and
It's never just like, hey man, I
Yeah.
respect what you said. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
none of that?
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's not. You know, it's not going to matter because it's like we could go back and forth till the end of time. It's like, dude, you know, who cares or whatever.
Right.
Because I know, like, dude, if I f up, because I've done it. You know, I've gone to a bar, been wasted, and been like, hey, what's up, to somebody's girl, and I've had the guy like most respectfully come to me, be like, dude, that's not cool. That's my. I'm like, dude, I totally get it, man. Like, thank you. Like, that is a level
Right.
of respect that I can totally get with. But you know, I tried doing that with him, and the reason that's like I don't even care about it now is it's not worth my time. You know, I could go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's like I really wrap my head trying to understand, you know, who he is and where he's coming from. And I think it's like, even, you know, I'm not a perfect guy at all. And so part of it is like, I'm thinking now it's this point of like understanding where, like how he was raised and where he's coming from, and then getting where you can just like fly
At some
off the
point, I
handle
get
with some
mad and throw that
crazy
out the
shit.
window. I'm like, you know what, man? I told you once. You only get checked once.
Told you once, told you twice,
Told you
Damn.
once, son. I know,
Byron,
right?
if you did that, I'm gonna have to break my no sex rule.
Well, all right.
Oh,
So
damn.
we got to start wrapping
I'm
up
gonna
because
take
we
a
have
page out of Leroy's
we have a
book.
very special surprise coming up after the break. So this was it, the reunion, season 26, San Diego. When we come back, I'm not even gonna tell you guys. When we come back, we have a special surprise. So we're gonna hit.
Is it a stripper?
It is a stripper.
Please, God, let it be a
Midget.
stripper.
The stripper is you, Alex.
Oh, shoot.
Tamica's
Priscilla?
Tamika's
I've
coming.
already seen it.
All right, we're gonna go to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll give you something good.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives and more.
Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
All right, so we are back from our commercial break. Leroy is apparently talking to his birds on the phone. So I promised you guys a special surprise. Also, I know Roxy's going to be upset because she's been waiting for this to happen. But our dear friend, Alex, of course, we all know she's a singer, songwriter.
Can you hear me?
Yes, girl.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So we're going to shoot it over to you. She's going to perform a song. What song are you going to perform for us?
We are going to do a song called Wild Child. It's pretty new, actually. And wait, tell me one thing. Can you hear me now? Because it's weird. I feel like Britney Spears. Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me when it's right here?
What's that?
Can you still hear me when it's right here?
Yep, but it would be so much better if you had it a little closer.
I'll sing loud. It'll be
Okay.
really loud. Okay. Shall we go?
Go ahead.
I can't hear anything in the headphones.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't hear the guitar.
Let me know when it's time to go.
Yeah.
Cool?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
ready?
No, Alex? Alex,
Yes.
put it on.
Come on.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was born moving fast on a railway track. I've been traveling all my life, moving around town to town. I've been lost but never found, never mount the same horse twice. Then you said hello, you were headed home yet, going on the opposite train. Now I can't wait to see your face again. You make me wanna just settle down, build a house, have a child. It's like dinner fix, teach our kids how to ride a bike. Brush our teeth, his and her, bathroom sinks at night. You make this wild child so tame. You make this wild child so tame. Yeah. The first hurried kiss was so hard to resist. I'm an addict now, I know. And the taste of your lips like a lit cigarette. Baby, light me just one more. 'Cause when you said hello, you were headed home yet, going on the opposite train. Now I can't wait to see your face again. You make me wanna just settle down, build a house, have a child. It's like dinner fix, teach our kids how to ride a bike. Brush our teeth, his and her, bathroom sinks at night. You make this wild child so. You make me wanna slow my roll down. You make me wanna tell these hoes no. You got me feeling so grown up now, picturing you in a light blue chateau. I think I'm tired of the nightlife. I've had my fix of the bright lights. I'm trying to be just the right wife. Baby, there you go, just settle down, build a house, have a child. It's like dinner fix, teach our kids how to ride a bike. Brush our teeth, his and her, bathroom sinks at night. You make this wild child so tame. You make this wild child so tame. Yeah.
That was good.
That was amazing.
You wrote that yourself?
Yeah.
That was
Dang,
good.
girl.
It's
That
catchy,
was-
like, ooh. See how bad I sound?
Wait, I think that should be the music video because we got.
I know we got the backup
We
there.
got some
we
clips
got our,
in
we
there.
got our video hoe right here.
Hey, Leroy, not to be stereotypical, but can we get some beats in the background?
No, we don't need Leroy to
AfterBuzz
rap it all.
TV, Jesse J. Here in the room. Okay. Ready?
All right, so I mean, we gotta.
Should we go back to our natural seats?
Yes, please head back to.
That was
I
good
like
though,
being
really.
Britney Spears for a moment.
And you
Well-
play good.
Girl, you can be Britney
You
Spears
play-
all night.
How long you been playing for?
Oh man, you know what? Only like 2 years, I think.
Really?
Yeah, about that.
Same thing I've been singing for.
I know, right?
Oh, that was good.
Thanks. You don't have to be nice.
No, I swear to God, I was singing it. For like, when you hear a song that sucks, you will never like be able to catch the hook of it. I'm like,
I
and you start rapping at the end. I was like, damn.
I
She's
was
like,
like-
I'm tired of
I'm
going. I was
black.
like, wait a minute now.
Wait, did you forget I'm black?
She has to
Come
rap.
on.
Right,
Yeah, you hear a song that sucks and you just kind of go, yeah, no, it was good. That's
Yeah.
all you say, and then you walk out, you fade away.
right, yo.
It was
Where does
good.
your inspiration come when you sing? When you write?
Oh, it's me.
From asshole ex-boyfriends and current boyfriends.
And current boyfriends.
Well, and so-
current asshole boyfriends.
And I want to add in.
Wait, there's more than one? Boyfriends?
Conversation.
It comes
Plural?
from a lot. It comes from a lot of things.
Really quickly, I want to add in about Tamica, the girl that you. Now this is out here in LA. You found her.
Yeah, she actually is always playing her ukulele outside of Trader Joe's, where I go get groceries every day. And I walked by her a couple times. I didn't really say much. I threw some money in her case. And then one day she was singing a song called Keep the Faith, and it's one of her original songs. And I was just amazed. It had such a positive message, and I was like, this girl must be really insightful and must be a great person if she's, living in such difficult circumstances, but writing songs about staying strong and staying positive. So I stopped and I talked to her, and she just has a really, really amazing story. I actually want to do like a full-length documentary on her at some point. She's been on the streets since she was 16.
Oh, wow.
So it's not her fault. Her parents kind of put her in that place, and she hasn't been able to pick herself back up ever since then. And she just wants to go to music school. So I'm working on trying to raise money or get her a scholarship to music school.
Oh,
And
girl, stop! I
she's-
can't deal with you. You are too.
I know, right?
She's
Yo,
amazing.
She's us reincarnated.
how old is she?
21.
How did she become homeless so
Her
young?
parents. both,
Crazy life story.
I
Really?
think I'm not gonna like put words in her mouth, but her parents were pretty irresponsible, and they, I think there was a lot of drugs and stuff like that
Right.
involved. And,
Damn.
And
And
the
kind of
craziest thing is that
abandoned her.
like she's like with it, you know?
She's
like
so
she's
smart.
so with it. And you
And
talk
so
to some
funny,
other
too. She's
yeah,
really
no,
funny.
Is she actually
funny.
like on the street or is she in the shelter?
She goes back and forth. She hates the shelters because her stuff gets stolen all the
Yeah.
time, and there's fights all the time. So it's sad to hear that a lot of young people, and just a lot of homeless people in general, prefer sleeping on the streets to sleeping at a
Right.
shelter.
She should write a book though. I mean, she's told me some like crazy stuff like that
Yeah.
Occupy Wall Street, you either get the affluent that are trying to fight it, and then you get, it's a spot for homeless people to just come in and
And
hang
that's where
out.
she was staying for a while.
And she was staying there for a
Occupy
minute.
LA.
Yeah, at Occupy LA. And man, dude, she'd tell you some nuts stories, like some crazy ass.
We got it so good.
We are so
right?
lucky. And then,
Alex, you're
and
one
then
of the most inspiring people
Thank
I've
you.
ever met. Like just the
Aw.
fact because it's so
even when I was
genuine.
drunk at the holiday party,
Even when
I
you were
inspired
drunk
you?
at the holiday party.
Oh, she just announced that she got drunk, and here the whole time on the show she didn't drink.
I didn't drink all summer.
No, but the thing about, even the thing about that, even seeing you in that type of an environment, it's just the type of person you are. You can have fun, you can, you can goof around, talk shit, but at the end of the day, you genuinely.
Oh, she can talk some shit, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard it. At the end of the day, this is you. This is naturally.
Mm-hmm.
That woman stopped you, inspired you. You were the one to go grab all those Subway sandwiches and go out and talk to people. And
I think at the end of the day, this is a good and a bad quality. I put other people before myself a lot of the time.
right.
Even in the house, yeah, maybe not Byron, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what you even see in the house is why I'm constantly reaching out. That's why I stayed friends with Frank even when he freaked me out a lot. I was like, clearly this is somebody who needs a friend. He needs someone to scold him because he wasn't scolded growing up. He wasn't scolded in college. His friends kind of sit by and watch him do all this stuff, but they view it as entertainment. And I've talked to him about this even after the show. I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and let you be that because I know he's better
You are a
than that.
very small percentage of the world because like me and him, we write people off
also-
like, you know what,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
moving. Holla
Yeah.
back.
But I try to look for something good in everybody, whether it's like Tamica, the girl at the grocery store, or Frank in the house, and and that's just kind of the way I am. And sometimes it's bad. Sometimes I end up giving too much to people who don't deserve it, like Zach and Ashley in the house when I was really, really trying to reach out to them. And I did give up at a certain point, but I shouldn't have even tried that hard. I should have just laid back and been like, whatever, do you, it's fine.
Yeah, that's like stressful because I know how much you do care, and it's like I can see like you pull your own hair out giving a shit. Like I mean, it's
I really don't care sometimes because I feel like people don't care about me. I'm like, this motherfucker don't care. You know what I mean? I'm trying to help this person out and they just give me the ass to kiss. I never want to sell myself short to someone who doesn't care. Now
Leroy,
for the
who doesn't care about you?
I got enough love for you to make up for it.
No, but for the homeless people or something like that, it's totally different. For somebody that has everything given to him and then he's just gonna give you his ass to kiss, it's like, man, you know what? I ain't got time for this.
Yeah.
But
All right, well, that's it, folks. This
been
is
real.
it.
Oh, real quick,
It's been a
everybody
real
make sure
one.
you watch the Battle of the Exes.
Oh, yeah.
I will be on that, the new challenge that'll come out January 25th. Me and Naomi are teammates.
Watch the preview on MTV.
If you're not familiar with who that is, that's the girl that's off my Las Vegas season.
You get to watch Nate and Priscilla too, right?
Yeah, Nate
They're
and
in
Priscilla.
Nah, don't worry about
Don't
Nate.
Don't worry about
just
them.
pay
They
attention to me
nothing.
and Naomi.
They're only on it for one episode.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So beyond, he was talking like he experienced it all.
I know, right?
But so yes, January 25th. Make sure you check out Leroy on MTV, the X Challenge. But also Leroy, you got something else coming up.
Oh yes, me and Zach off the San Diego season, we are gonna have a boxing match. I just got my contract today. We're both gonna sign it. This is gonna go down
I'm excited to see
January
this.
13th.
Where at?
This is gonna be in Concord, New Hampshire. I think it's gonna be live on the internet. I don't think it's gonna be on TV because we're both in contract. But me and him are definitely gonna duke it out.
I'm not trying to be
And
biased
what's
or
this the
anything,
crazy
but
part? I never met him, and the first time I meet him, I gotta punch him in his mouth. Isn't that something?
I
So
really
you
hope
no,
you
you really
win.
feel.
Wait, Alex, you said not trying to be
I'm
biased.
not
but
trying to be biased, but I hope Leroy wins.
Yeah.
I hope he wins hard. I hope it's a
Going in there
knockout.
trying to kill him.
So where can we follow you, Leroy?
Follow me on Twitter, RoyLee25, and hit my website up, LeroyGarrett.com, and you can find everything there.
Bet.
Lean body.
Lean body.
90 Days Sober.
There you go. I'm kind of envious of that 90 days sober. I gotta start doing that, man.
Yeah,
New Year's
man.
Wait, what's your
resolutions coming
tattoo?
up.
What's that tattoo?
Oh, it says I survived
thank-
25. The real world
Oh,
season.
no. I was
2015.
about
No.
to say, thank goodness
That's
you
a
didn't
cigarette
get the,
burn from rehab.
I was about to say, thank goodness you didn't get the
everybody's
numbers
gotta
of
do
the
it.
season tattoo on your body. Leroy.
Season
Lost
25.
points.
Byron, what do you got going on?
Oh man, so I decided to go all in on production, maxing out all my credit cards, and I'm boosting up my my YouTube channel because I got a lot of friends in the biz like Freddie Wong, Daystorm Power, all those
Really?
other guys on the internet. Yeah, no,
He did the controller with us.
Yeah. Freddie Wong's a genius, dude.
Man.
Like, he's ridiculous. And so I'm deciding going all in, kind of getting into the game. I got a whole bunch of ideas that I've set aside, and I'm gonna start putting them up and plugging them out. If you are interested, I'll
Most definitely,
yeah,
man.
I'll shoot you an email, get you
Right
some
on.
cool stuff.
And where can we find that?
Yeah, go. You can either reach me on Twitter at @goodbyron. I don't know if that was catchy. Throw that in there. And you can also find me at just my name for my YouTube channel at Byron Bartlett. And you can also look at me and Alex's stuff at her channel at Alexandra Govere on YouTube.
All right, and Alex, that's all we can find your music at? Because
can
where can I
find-
find this song?
This song, I'm going to put it on YouTube soon. There's
I
like
would
a
download that
there's
off
like a
iTunes. That's a
short
good one.
version.
So I'm saying, man, we just need some MP3s. So holler out to if any producers are listening out there, either in here or out there. That's all we need. It's a little studio
I want to be a
time.
part of the band. This is a new band.
I'm gonna plug
This
it.
new
I'm gonna
band is
plug it.
called
I'm
Us
just saying.
Three.
Alex, where can they reach you?
Leroy on beats.
You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/Alexandra Govere if you want to listen to music or you want to see Tamica, the girl you saw on the reunion episode, playing one of her songs. You can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/AlexGovere. And from there, you can find links to pretty much everything from my blogs to email.
Facebook,
address,
which has 40,000 likes. So jealous.
Be jealous. Whatever. You have more Twitter followers than me.
Nah, I'd
I'm
rather-
killing,
I'd
You
rather
gotta
have
get those
fa-
workout videos.
I'm killing
Yeah,
the
I'd
Facebook
rather-
game, but Twitter is not good to
Man.
me. Follow me, damn it.
Follow her. All right, guys, and you guys can follow me at DJ Jesse J. I want to give a shout out to Nehemiah, who's
Yeah,
been
where's
joining
he?
us this season. I want to give a shout out to Frank Sweeney, who's been joining us this season. I want to give a shout out to Nicolette, Gaona, Fancy Tracy, and Roxy Shry, who all couldn't be here with us tonight. And I want to thank the three of you guys for coming in.
Thank
and,
you.
Thank you for
wrapping
having
out
us.
a great season of The Real World. So until January 25th, that's all, folks.
Ready?
Holla back.
Peace.
It's been real.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janedy, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.